Yeah, so I mean, in terms of defense, they have a new defense coordinator. So yeah, there'll be a couple similarities to what they've done before. Obviously, a lot of new faces. I feel like from a couple years ago, especially in the secondary. But yeah, I mean, it's a similar defense from what we've seen. From what I've seen being here too, similar to that kind of style we've had before. So. Um, yeah, we'll see. But obviously, I mean, first game, you got to be ready for some stuff you probably haven't seen before. So.
Jordan, in hindsight, how beneficial, how important was that night in Philly for you? And what do you remember about that night looking back?
Yeah, yeah, blast of the past, but it was yeah, one of those situations where you're the backup and starter goes down, you got to be ready to get up in there, and we did some good things that game. It was my first time trying to lead a comeback drive right there and come back win, and came up short, but we did a couple good things, and a lot of stuff for me personally to be able to build on and learn from getting some in-game experience. So I'm excited to see him again.
How different are you now, this version of yourself from the quarterback that trotted out in the fourth quarter then?
Yeah, a lot more experience. A lot more experience.
Jordan, from your experience as the number two quarterback, and then last year working with Sean, what is your expectation from a backup quarterback, whether it's a day like today or going into the game?
Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, what is your expectation for a backup quarterback, A, from your experience being the backup, or B, working with Sean last year, whether it's a day like today or game day?
For them, you're saying?
Yes. What are your expectations?
Oh no, I mean, the backup role. You do so many things during the week. I mean, you make DB reports. You fill out the depth chart in the room, things like that, and and then at the same time, you're trying to get yourself ready to play as well. So, learning everything that's going in this week, game plan wise, and then helping out, doing whatever you got to do to get some more tips on the defense, any tells you can find, things like that.
Jordan, when they bring in a new kicker, I know you're doing your own thing in practice, but do you at all look over there and just see how he's doing? I think he's kicked twice now, and if so, what have you thought?
Yeah, I mean, we see them kick during the, when we kind of break from the team drills and get the kicks in. We're all kind of right there watching. So it's been some really good things. Obviously, we had the scrimmage the other night at Lambeau, and he made some pretty impressive kicks. So definitely looking forward to seeing him game day.
Jordan, you mentioned kind of having to be ready for anything week one. Matt just talked about how week one's kind of be a guessing game in terms of skills. So as the quarterback, like how hard is that to sort of not really know what they're going to throw at you, no matter how much film you study or whatever, just what's the challenge there?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Week one is always is, and then you add on top of that new defense coordinator. So, we're watching a lot of film from where they came from, the Dolphins, and a lot of different stuff. Where, you got to remember, we're not playing some of the DBs that we might be watching on film, some of the guys and the Dolphins, things like that. So, it's definitely tough. And then you add that part where you just don't know what they're going to do this year. If they might be, doing some new things defensively that we haven't seen in the past. So, a lot of unknowns. So, you kind of just got to trust the rules of the game plan and kind of go out there, take that opening drive to get a feel. Like, we don't even know who might be out there, DB wise, front seven. So just taking that opening drive to get a feel for what their, blitz flavor of the days might be and kind of how they're trying to play us.
Is that all it takes? You just need kind of one drive to kind of get a feel for, okay, this is how they're going to try to attack us. Is it a matter of quarters at one drive? How long does that take?
No, it's definitely not just one drive. I mean, opening drive is kind of when you kind of feel who's out there. What they might be trying to start with and do defensively, and then I think once you get through a quarter into halftime, that's when you get a feel. Okay, you've seen a couple blitzes, you've seen some of their coverage, some of their third down things they're trying to do. So it definitely takes well into the first half, but I mean on the sideline we're going over everything and can kind of make those in-game adjustments and see what they're trying to do. But just gotta play with it.
At all do you feel going into this week one as opposed to last year? Like, I know you had confidence in yourself, but like maybe you weren't exactly sure how you're going to do. Does it feel different this year going into week one?
Yeah, it does. I think a lot more confidence from the whole team. Offensively, I feel like we're at a really good point. We had a good training camp, and now I think we're ready to start this season. So I'm very excited about it. But I think definitely just having more confidence under your belt, having more reps, and just trusting yourself a lot more.
How do you typically approach a long flight? I mean, not that you've taken one this long, but like if you go out west for a game, what is your approach to a long flight? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, this is a longer flight than flying out west, but I'm not even sure how long this flight. I think it's like 10 hours or something like that. Yeah, so hopefully sleep as long as I can, and just pray the flight goes quickly. But yeah, still, I think it's just different. It's one of those. The international games are so much different that you just don't really have any training for what to do. But I'll try and sleep as long as possible for sure.
Was the engagement flight good practice for that, or?
Oh yeah, that was good practice. It's not a direct though, so it's a little different. But yeah, I was asleep for most of that flight as well. So.
What is the longest flight you've been on? Would it be that one?
I don't know. I mean, London was pretty long. Italy, I mean, they're all kind of similar, but those are the longest trips I've been. That's the only time I've been out the country. So.
Matt was saying that you're focused on the Eagles, obviously, but there's another layer of first week stuff, right? Playing in Brazil. It's not like going to Philly or Chicago. So how do you kind of compartmentalize that aspect of it? You don't know enough. You don't know a lot about the stadium, the field, all those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of unknowns that it's one of those things, like I like to say, it's out of our control. So, just trying to focus on everything I can do to get myself prepared for the game, for the defense we're going to see in the game plan, and then obviously once we get out there, hopefully we go by the stadium, kind of get a feel for the layout, the field, everything, and then just play it by ear. But a lot of stuff that's out of our control.
What are your thoughts on just this opportunity to play in the first NFL game in South America?
Yeah, I'm excited. I definitely think it's a very cool opportunity to be able to play in front of a fan base who a lot of those people might not have seen an NFL game, might be their first NFL game. So I'm excited for it. And like you said, first one, so it'll be very exciting.
You see the mural of yourself that they have down there?
Yeah.
For you?
I saw that. Me and Jalen Hurts, that's very cool. Very cool.
What's your relationship like with Jalen?
Yeah, I know Jalen. Yeah, same draft class. Been around him a couple times, but I think he's a phenomenal player. I love the way he carries himself, and just obviously his college career. Going from Bama to Oklahoma. I love his demeanor about the game and just his competitive nature.
What do you admire most about his games?
Yeah, I mean he's just a dog. I think he's one of those quarterbacks who he's going to scramble and he's not going to slide. He's going to take some hits, and he's a bigger guy. So I think he just has that mindset. He's a very, very competitive player, I see, and I think just the way he is as a leader. Been that way since he started his rookie year. So I love just watching him play and get better every year.
A.J. Brown was asked. They said the team had kind of gone through a meeting about what you can't do when you're in Brazil. Have you guys had anything like that yet about what to do and not to do outside of football when you get there?
No, we haven't had any meetings yet about, like you said, the do's or don'ts or what we might be doing out there. So not yet.
Jordan, a lot of players have like pregame routines and situations and superstitions and things like that. Do you have a routine that you follow, superstitions, things that you like to do before games?
No, I'm not very superstitious. I kind of follow the same routine of, kind of schedule-wise what I like to do, but a lot of it just comes down to trying to get my mind right, trying to focus. If we have a later game, I like to relax during the day, trying to make sure I save all my energy, things like that. But I love to meditate. Game day, I'll get a meditation session and just kind of, like I said, just set my intentions, focus on the day. But I'm not very superstitious.
I know it's not about last year, but given the run you guys got on late last year, just what's your sense in this locker room of how eager these guys are to get out and play for the league?
Yeah, no, I think everybody is very hungry. And I think the message this year is for us to go out and start fast. Not have any late season runs. Start out fast and, kind of put people on notice for what we're going to do this year and what we're going to be about.
Is there any difference in the 9:15 kick as opposed to an 8:15 kick? I think this is probably going to be the latest, like where you guys are playing. Is there any difference there? Is it just it's an hour different?
No, I mean it is a late kickoff for Brazil time, so yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, just gotta control what you control. You can't control what time the game starts, so just control trying to rest throughout the day, maybe take a nap or something like that, and just obviously have your mind ready for when kickoff is.
How much less stressful would a season be if you didn't have to have the finish that you had last year, where it was kind of do or die every week for the last 5-6 weeks?
How much what?
How much less stressful would it be on a team to not have to be in that situation late in the year because of a slow start?
Oh yeah, I mean it would definitely be a lot less stressful. But I think no matter what position you are in the league, I mean you could be the undefeated team, number one. I mean there's still a lot of pressure you have on you to be able to go out there and perform every week. And obviously it doesn't really matter what you do throughout the season. Once you get to playoffs, you got to show up every week. So it definitely was some stress on us last year, just trying to fight to get in the playoffs and fight to get in. So that's why I said we want to start this year a lot faster and not have to rely on that.
you obviously I realize that playoffs are the #1 goal and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any individual goals and does like things like MVP or touchdown passes or is there any of that stuff on your radar? Or does that stuff not matter at all?
No, you know, obviously goals I think is just, I mean, stat-wise, I had better stats than last year, but you know, you can't control a lot of that, and you know, for me, at the end of the day, it just comes down to being consistent. You know, trusting my fundamentals, going out there and being the best player I can every play. So, you know, I take a game at one game at a time, but definitely, I mean, you can't control MVP, stuff like that. You know, it just comes down to going out there and be the best version of you every day.
Jordan, do you remember what it was like for you emotionally as you prepared for week 1 last year, and then how different you feel going into week 1 this year?
Yeah, no, yeah, week 1 last year, you know, there's a lot going on. It's my first year starting. You know, there's so many question marks surrounding me, surrounding the team. So, you know, I definitely wanted to go out there and have a great performance, and I think we did that. But there was, you know, it's just a stressful situation. But you know, I was just trusted myself and was confident in my ability, and like I said, just treated it like another game for me, and had to really go back to my college days and my mindset for getting ready for game day and things like that, because it's been a long time where you're not really processing, all right, I'm starting this game off and taking the first snap, and you're not on the sideline, being able to kind of see what the defense is doing while the starter's out there. So it's different, but yeah, I guess, you know, having that year under my belt makes it easier this year.
Sean was saying he started scouting the Colts, like even or inside the Eagles, like even before like the final week. Did you start doing any of that early?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, that's the week 1 game. We've been watching some tape on them for a while, and that's why it makes everybody so hungry to get out there, because you've been waiting for this game. You know when it's coming, and yeah, we've been studying them for a little bit.
Hey Jordan, I know how much you love playing with Aaron Jones. He obviously had a big impact in the first game last year. What are your kind of expectations and excitement level for kind of unleashing Josh this time around?
Very excited. You know, I mean, Josh is Josh. He's a phenomenal player, and you know, I think he's very hungry to get out there and get his first kind of action in a Packers uniform. So, you know, I'm excited to just hand him the ball and watch him work. So, you know.
Cheer more for Jordan. First play bomb on Friday. Would that be your preference?
We'll see.
We
can't give the game plan out. You know what I mean? We'll see. I always like throwing bombs on.
Like Detroit, was it Detroit last year?
Yeah, Detroit. We started off. Yeah.
Jordan, you mentioned, we were talking about, Kelly asked you about the last year's opener, but going back to Philly, when you went into that game, were there nerves? You'd started a game before, so it's not like you hadn't played, but were there nerves then? And are you a vastly different guy than you were then, and both as a player and the growth just as a leader and everything else?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's always nerves, and I think, you know, even more when you're a backup. The starter gets injured, you're coming in, and you know, the starter's Aaron Rodgers too. So there's definitely nerves that you just want to go out there and perform your best for the guys around you, and it's tough. You don't get those reps throughout the week that the starter gets. So you know, this might be your first time running some of these plays, and that's how it was for me in the Eagles game. It was my first time running a couple of those plays we ran, but there's always nerves. But I think even more, you know, away environment, and the Philly's a crazy stadium to play at, so there's definitely a lot of nerves.